Right, this is a little walk around video for a Suzuki Swift 1.6 Sport. Car's covered just over 39,000 miles now. It's 39,035 miles. I'm just going to go pan around the vehicle for you just to show the condition of the vehicle. Obviously the engine's running all the way through this video. Always sounds noisier on the video than it does in reality when you're stood here. Bonnet is very clean, hardly a stone chip on there. Front lens on offside here, very clean indeed, and fog lights completely intact. Bumper corner rather, absolutely spot on. Offside front wing, clean as a whistle. Alloy on the side, unmarked, and plenty of tread on that tyre there as well. Coming down the flanks, you can see it's absolutely mirror smooth, and there's hardly a mark to be seen, which is remarkable given it's a black car. It's going to be the odd tiny one somewhere, I'm sure there is, but you have to sort of look pretty hard to find one. So I can't find any dimple dents at all, which would show up on something as sort of just reflects so easily on the blacks. Rear alloy, again, very clean indeed. I can see one minuscule little mark on the curb, on the edge of the rim there. Just it is tiny, and yeah, plenty of tread in the tyre as well. On the back of the car, obviously twin exhausts on these sports. It's really good indeed. Bumper and tailgate, absolute super condition. There's no marks on there anywhere. Near side of the vehicle, again, it's absolutely mirror smooth. Can't see anything on there. Rear wings, clean as a whistle. Really clean and tidy. Rear near side alloy, again, absolutely superb condition. The only mark you can see again is just absolutely tiny, just a little one there, and then loads of tread on the tyre as well. And then down the flanks, rear mirror housing all good, front wing completely unmarked, and final wheel. Near side front here, again, very good. This one's probably got slightly more, but even that's tiny. It's got a little bit just on the curb there. It's a tiny little bit curved, but it is minuscule. So apart from literally the tiniest bit of curbing on one alloy, you're looking at the car in extraordinarily clean condition. Boot area of the car, again, all good. Everything's intact. The little parcel shelf there is all good as well. All the fabrics are kept in very nice condition there. And underneath here you've got the extra little stowage area underneath as well. So that's it. All the bits that should be in there are still in there. Coming to the back of the car now, sorry. Again, rear seats look absolutely superb. Generally doesn't look as though anyone's really sat in there for any length of time. The fabric's in absolutely super condition. Carpets at the back, absolutely lovely, not soiled or damaged in any way. And the back of the seats, as you can see, completely unmarked. So coming to the front of the car, driver's door card, really good condition. All the plastics are very nice indeed. The only mark I saw was tiny, little mark just there, which might just polish off, but that's all I can actually see. Footwell area and sill, all very clean indeed. Driver's seat, absolutely stunning condition, it really is. And then we've got passenger seat, really good. And passenger door card, again, just looks like new. So I'm just going to go back to the driver's seat. I did see a tiny little bit on the top actually. Oh, it is, yeah. Someone just caught it just a fraction there. It's not gone. It's just, I don't know what it is really. Just snagged it very slightly. But the whole point of this is to pick up on these things. All right, so sat inside the car now. Obviously, engine's running. Just going to pan around the dashboard for you. Not much to say. Dashboard's absolutely immaculate. It looks really clean and fresh. Everything's working as it should. So you've got climate control system, gear lever, but it's all in super condition. It really is, as you'd expect given such a low mileage in all honesty, but it's not always the case. And there we see 39,035 miles. No warning lights on the car as it's running, as you can see with the rev counter there. And back to the steering wheel, all fabulous condition. Finally, just want to show you, we've got the original owner's manual pack for the car. That's all good and intact and in the vehicle, and very importantly, the lock and wheel nut key is in the car as well. Right, this is a road test for a Suzuki Swift KR11NKM. It's 1.6 Sport, and the mileage currently on the car is 39,028 miles. The reason we do these road tests is basically we're now selling to customers from all over the UK and the far reaches of Europe as well, and we just want customers to see our cars prior to setting off, just to make sure that they can see the cars in operation, and hopefully give them the confidence to come and see us. But obviously it also gives me opportunity to drive the car, or cars rather, and give any feedback I can, good, bad or otherwise basically. Worth pointing out that the road tests are done on the roads just outside our work, so it will be the very roads that any prospective buyer will be driving the cars on. So in theory should be very representative of obviously what you'll feel yourself when you come and see the car. We always do the road test in much the same way, and that's basically to kind of mimic what you'll do. So I always start with the engines. This particular engine, it starts absolutely first turn of the key. There's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or anything else. The engine idles absolutely rock steady. There's no fluctuations, no vibrations, clutch in or out, doesn't make any difference at all. And it pulls very, very sweetly indeed. I'll obviously open up a bit more further into the test drive, so hopefully you can hear it. But I drove it a couple of days ago, and it really sort of sings along very, very nicely indeed. The clutch, the engine rather, then goes through clutch into the gearbox. The clutch is very light, very positive, very smooth in actuation, and really does feel as though it's biting exactly the right points. Here I am at idle, it says idling, I don't know what it is, 800, 850 RPM, whatever. Clutch in or out, it said it doesn't make any difference at all. The engine stays exactly as it should do. Gearbox itself, I can't feel any wear in it. It's a nice, precise, easy to use gearbox. Not over light. I don't like horrible light gearboxes. It's got kind of a certain meatiness to it, which is really, really quite surprising actually. But the actual linkage, gear lever itself, everything just feels like brand new. It's got no discernible wear in it, which in fairness you wouldn't expect given such a low mileage on the car. So in terms of kind of powertrain, sort of engine, gearbox and clutch, simply can't fault it. It's exactly what it should be. The way now, we'll get up to slightly higher speeds to check suspension and steering in a second for you as well. Steering does, again, as with a lot of this will be kind of repetition really, hopefully. I can't feel anywhere in the steering. Tracks bullet straight. There's no vibrations, there's nothing coming back through the steering which suggests there's any noticeable wear underneath the car or in the steering components at all. Sometimes even low mileage cars, especially relatively small cars, they're quite often bought because people live in cities where there's minimal space. Unfortunately, even low mileage in cities can make a car quite sort of rickety to drive, where bouncing over potholes and sleeping policemen. But this feels really, really tight. It really does. Likewise, the suspension, obviously you can hear it going over bumps, which is quite normal. But what I'm not getting is kind of any kind of secondary or what I call aftershocks. And those are little things like the suspension of these anti-roll bar link arms, sort of drop links, which are there to protect the major suspension components, so they take the brunt of the wear. But you hear them rattling back, quite a noticeable metallic knocking noises. But there's nothing on the car. It just feels really solid, ever so precise. It's maintained its precision from new, which is very, very impressive indeed. Again, as I'm driving along at speed, just taking in the any kind of wind noises that really shouldn't be there, and there's none. Again, so that means that windscreen seals and window seals are all in good order. Nothing's been skagged, creating kind of wind hiss and intrusion into the car. Brakes on the vehicle, so give it a sharp jab. Lovely and solid. Great pedal actually. No feel any kind of pulsing or vibration coming back through the brake pedal at all. So all seems in very good order there. Guys, we don't get many of these cars in, but you know, it's always nice to sort of break up from, or sort of, you know, go away from some of the cars that you regularly drive. You get quite used to your own thing. But I had one of these many years ago, and you know, I was always impressed by just how kind of zippy and zesty it was in terms of the way it drove. But you know, whoever's had this car has kept it absolutely beautifully, because looking around inside, the seats, the plastics are all in absolutely top condition. And as is fairly typical of a Japanese car, there's not even a hint of a buzz or a squeak from the trim. It's just put together, you know, really, really well indeed. It's lovely, very, very solidly built cars. Every button, every switch has got that same, you know, nice click action that you get from Japanese vehicles. You know, they don't do kind of the German style of, you know, make everything kind of, in inverted commas, feel heavy. They give everything kind of that lovely precision, you know, the minimum effort required to do things. But what you get is switches and stuff and switchgear that lasts an absolute eternity without the paint all rubbing off, which is what you get a lot of in German cars. Right, what I'm going to do in this lane is a horrible lane actually, because it's really potholed. I'm going to shut up in a second and just put my foot down hard and go through a couple of the gears and then hit the brakes hard. That's impressive. Engine absolutely sings along beautifully. The brakes are rock solid. They're not pulling left, right, or otherwise. Going back to the interior of the car, as I said, I can't fault the interior. Plastics look absolutely superb everywhere I'm looking. It's a really muggy day outside. It's 24 degrees, but it's one of those sweaty, thundery kind of close days. And the air conditioning is absolutely ice cold in here, so obviously clearly got a very good air conditioning system. It's all fully charged. All the controls for the climate control are working absolutely perfectly. Really easy to use, which I love. It's just, you know, dead simple switches, but as I said, they are manufactured to a very nice standard. Again, nice big, easy to use radio. Can't go wrong with that. All works exactly as it should. I love the dashboard on these. It's really minimalist, but so easy to read. It's not complicated at all. Rev counter, speedo in the middle, and then your temperature and fuel gauge. Temperature gauge is running at just under half, which is exactly where it wants to be on the car. All the pixelation on readouts perfect. Steering wheel just feels like brand new in my hand. It's a really nice weight and size. So, but yeah, no, it's a you know, I am here to criticise them as well. So if there's something wrong with the car, I do tell people. I have done on many of my previous videos, but I can't really fault this car in any way. I'm just going to try the wipers, because they're a bit of a pet hate of mine when they smear. So I'm just going to give those a bit of a go. But even they're good, so yeah, can't fault those either. So yeah, I have to say, really nice car. So just check the radio a second. All the remote controls are working perfectly on that, so that's good. So no, yeah, all absolutely spot on. So all in all, really good car. Clearly, if I've missed anything on the video, don't hesitate. Please do call us. You know, don't do it intentionally. And if there's anything you want us to have a look out for you, we'll be happy to do it. But in all honesty, whether you're driving a couple of miles down the road to see us, or driving 3 days across Europe, you'll be coming to drive a car that drives absolutely as it should, without anything that I can find wrong with it at all. And I do like mechanicals on cars, so I am sort of harsh on them in that way, to very, very critical indeed. But this drives really well. So as I said, I hope it's been of some use, and we hope to hear from you soon.